everybody, Angel Arts here, and welcome to another video analyzing each character, the companions and the advisors of the upcoming Dragon Age Inquisition video game from BioWare. In today's video, we are going to analyze the Iron Bull. Again, I was excited when I found out that Freddie Prinze Jr. is going to voice the Iron Bull. When I first heard the Iron Bull's voice, I did not recognize that to be Freddie Prinze Jr.'s voice at all, which I find really impressive. Freddie Prinze, as many of you know, was also the voice actor for James Vega in Mass Effect 3. Going in to Mass Effect 3, a lot of people were a little bit wary about this newcomer, because, you know, you have this established character throughout the first two games, and now you've got this fresh new character that BioWare added in, and people weren't really sure if, you know, what exactly is the deal with this, with the new guy. And there have been so many people who just ended up loving James Vega, or at least not minding James Vega. He became a really great character, and surprising a lot of people that he wasn't let's crush things and kill things one-dimensional character. He actually had a little bit of depth. He had some humor, and he had a little bit of his own charm. And yeah, so James Vega ended up getting a lot of fans, and I think Freddie's work helped with that a lot. So moving on to now with Dragon Age Inquisition, I was so happy that they decided to ask Freddie to come back again and voice Iron Bull's character. And what I absolutely love about Freddie is that he is a fan of the series as well. He's a fan of BioWare games. He's played the BioWare games, and that's huge. I think that greatly enhances the ability for a voice actor to work with these characters because they're so enthusiastic, because they get it. They get the world, they get the game, they get that understanding in of itself. I think greatly will provide Freddie to do another superb job with the Iron Bull. I admit, when I first heard about the Iron Bull and saw the first videos of him in the trailer, for example, I wasn't sure myself what to think of him, because at face value he just seems like a big, brooding Qunari smashy smash. And I guess that's a lot of what other people thought about James Vega. But then the more I started reading about the Iron Bull's character, the more I'm like, okay, so he's completely not what I thought he was going to be. The Iron Bull's description on the official website is, Qunari are known across Thedas as the brutal horned giants who descended from the north to nearly conquer the continent. These ruthless followers of a harsh philosophy enforce their will through the Ben Hassrath, their spies and secret police. One brilliant agent did it all, hunting spies, rebels, and deserters until the day he finally broke. To preserve a valuable asset, his superiors sent him to Orlais to observe and report, and the Iron Bull was born. Today, the Bull Chargers are famous mercenaries, fiercely loyal to the huge Qunari warrior who leads them into battles and taverns with equal enthusiasm. The Iron Bull still sends the Ben Hassrath reports, but years of living outside Qunari rules have him wondering which identity is really him. Whoever he's more than happy to join the Inquisition and get paid to kill demons. I'm really glad that the Iron Bull, personality-wise, is not another Sten. I think Sten was a great follower to have in Dragon Age Origins, because it helped us to learn about the Qun, about the Qunari as a religion, the people, as in people who follow the Qun, in addition to his race, that we traditionally call Qunari, even though Qunari are just anyone who follows the Qun. And that, I think, was invaluable to players who ended up continuing on to play Dragon Age 2, because it allowed you to have some understanding some understanding behind what was going on with the Arishok and the rest of the Qunari there. Like, even if you disagreed with some of the things that the Qunari and the Arishok did in Dragon Age 2, through the eyes of Sten, you were at least able to have a window into at least understanding the mentality and the psyche and what exactly makes the people who follow the Qun tick and what their motivations are. So, moving on to Dragon Age 3, you could have another Qunari, another who actually followed the Qun, and by Qunari I mean the race, but that would be a little bit redundant, I think, because again, you already had Sten for that in Dragon Age Origins. So I'm really glad, first of all, that the Iron Bull is not a follower of the Qun, but I think he knows about the Qun. I think he might not be practicing the Qun, but that doesn't mean he's unfamiliar of the Qun. So it'll be, again, really interesting to hear his thought processes as someone who is knowledgeable of the Qun but doesn't follow it necessarily. And again, personality-wise, whereas Sten was very stoic and very no-nonsense, and he's very goal-oriented. Sten was very goal-oriented. Let's go after that archdemon and do what we need to do. The Iron Bull seems to be a little bit more carefree. Like, he does take his job seriously, but he works hard, but he seems to play hard, if not harder, as well. He seems to love the joys of life, and that is very much the opposite of Sten, or at least it seems to be the opposite of Sten. So it'll be a really fresh perspective, especially, again, you're seeing this huge mammoth of a Qunari, and the developers have specifically said that Iron Bull's, his rigging, as in like the way that they set up his model in the game, the character is unique amongst all other Qunari because he is meant to be more massive. And someone that massive, I personally would not automatically think, oh yeah, he's a really happy-go-lucky, carefree person. I don't think he's like happy-go-lucky, but definitely would have, at face value, put him more at the stoic end of the spectrum as opposed to the spectrum that he's on right now. They did announce, again, at the Gamer X2 panel, that officially at that panel did they announce that the Iron Bull is bisexual. During the YouTube video with Freddie Prinze Jr., I think it was hinted at that, because he mentioned something about him, being able to get into bed with anyone. I think Patrick Weeks himself, who also wrote Iron Bull, mentioned that the Iron Bull will get into bed with anyone whom he doesn't believe he will break. And during the Gamer X2 panel, they mentioned that the Iron Bull originally was race-gated. As of this recording, I think they've said that there are at least 2 romances that are race-gated right now. Originally, the Iron Bull was race-gated not because they specifically wanted him to be race-gated, but because of the mechanics of how romances are handled scene-wise when it comes to programming each of the scenes, because you need to be able to essentially make the cutscene multiple times, for each gender, and not only for each gender, but each race of each gender. And because if you're trying to cater between dwarves to elves to humans to other Qunari inquisitors, that's going to be a pain in the butt to do, especially with someone of a unique body shape and just the sheer girth, like how tall and just the sheer size of the Iron Bull makes the programming the romances and their scenes specifically very challenging. But one of the animators, I completely forgot. I'm sorry, I completely forgot who it was. Took it upon himself to work extra hours to push to try to make the Iron Bull available to as many people, as many Inquisitors as possible. And I think it was one of those times where he didn't realize at the time how much he was biting, how much he needed to chew by biting this, because apparently it was a mammoth of a task. Rightfully so, because of the mammoth size of the Iron Bull. But eventually, his work paid off, and they were finally able to announce that not only is the Iron Bull available to either gender, but he's available to any of the 4 races, which is amazing, because I definitely think that it's so cool for a character like the Iron Bull to romance any Inquisitor that you make. That is amazingly cool. And I think that it fits his personality to be able, the ability to be with any character, I think it fits his personality. I'm not sure if people necessarily like the stigma that a lot of video games tend to put on bisexual characters, that stigma that if you're bisexual, that means you're promiscuous, because they kind of did that with Zevran a bit, and I think it upset a lot of people that there was this implication that you know, we have a bisexual character, so we have a tendency to make them want to sleep with everyone, because that's in reality that's not true. I mean, I may be gay, that doesn't mean that I'm interested in every single person that happens to be gay, you know? And just like if you're bisexual, that doesn't mean that you are going to be interested in every single man or woman that comes your way, nor do you necessarily want to be interested in every single man or woman that comes your way. So I know that some people might have issues with someone like the Iron Bull having the capability to romance any of your Inquisitors. Um, some people might have issues that that character is bisexual and you're having him available to every Inquisitor. Does that mean that it cheapens his romance because, or cheapens his personality because he'll just sleep with anyone? But I mean, I'd like to believe that the way that the romance is written out, that he is romancing your Inquisitor not because he can, but because he genuinely cares about the Inquisitor, regardless of what race or gender he or she is. Um, I don't know. It's going to be interesting because he does appear to be promiscuous, but I think it's going to be different from Zevran's romance. I'm almost positive that they're going to go a different take on it. So, and yes, apparently the Iron Bull has a thing about demons. So him and Cole, there's an interesting dynamic between the two of them, which I talk about when which I talk about at greater lengths with Cole's analysis, character analysis. Um, Patrick Weeks mentions that the only folks that the Iron Bull really has a problem with are those that are looking for fights about the Canary. He isn't trying to convert anybody, but he's not going to apologize for his way of life. And people like Varric, who saw the Canary at their worst in Kirkwall, might take that the wrong way. So, putting those two in a party, it would be interesting to see what type of banter they get into. At the end of the Gamer X2 panel, I don't remember which one who said it. Maybe it was David Gator. Somebody on the panel told everybody who was there at the end, you know, feel free to on Twitter #RideTheBull. I thought that was very cute that came from the developers themselves. The Ride the Bull hashtag came from them, and not necessarily didn't necessarily originate from the fans. That was awesome. So awesome. I'm definitely excited to see how the interactions, the physical interactions between the Iron Bull and, say, a dwarf, for example, how that's going to work in a way that is not comical. Like, it might, like, some parts of it might be comical, but other parts where the writers mean for it to be more serious, I'm hoping they'll be able to pull that off in a way that that allows the player to take the scene seriously. But again, apparently the developers and animators were working very hard to make all of that work. So I'm very tempted during one of my playthroughs. I'm positive I'm going to play Inquisition more than once, and one of my playthroughs, I really am tempted to specifically make a Dwarven Inquisitor specifically to romance the Iron Bull, just to see how they pulled it off. Another thing that Patrick Weeks has mentioned is that when comparing Iron Bull to food, Patrick describes him as either rump roast for size or chili dog for delicious bad decisions. I think that describes IB perfectly. So again, thank you very much for watching my character analysis of the Iron Bull. Tune in next time for another character analysis, and until then, love yourselves and love each other.